is how to find out all the possible outcomes when two or more experiments are performed simultaneously using a tree diagram. I will elaborate this concept with the help of a example. Draw the tree diagram when a coin and a die is rolled. Outcomes of, there are two experiments. Number one is coin and number second is a die. Outcomes of a die are 6 and outcomes of a coin are 6. First of all, we will draw 6 branches. The first experiment has 6 different outcomes. So first of all, we will draw 6 branches, just like this. Now keep it in your mind that all branches should end at a same point. Now, if the branches will not end at in a straight line, then it will be very difficult to write down the outcomes at the end of the tree diagram. We will write down the outcomes at the end of each branch. Now, the second step is, the second experiment is a coin, and coin has two outcomes. We will draw two branches for the coin opposite to each branch of the die. Now, in this way, we will draw two branches, this one, against each outcome of the die. And now we will write down the outcomes, that is one on the die and head on the coin, this one. One on the die, tail on the coin. Two on the die, head on the coin. Two on the die, tail on the coin. Now we will write down 1H, 1T, 2H, 2T, 3H. In this way, we will find out all the outcomes when two experiments are performed using a tree diagram. We can also draw the outcomes of the coin first and then outcomes of the die. Because there is no restriction in this question that whether we should toss the coin first or die the roll first. So in either way, we can draw the tree diagram. First of all, we will draw the two branches. The first experiment is coin. Now we will draw two branches for the coin. The second experiment is to roll a die, and the die has 6 outcomes. So we will draw 6 branches opposite to each head and the tail. We will write down the outcomes at the end of the branch. We will write down the probability of the outcome at the middle of the branch, just like this. Now, the next experiment is to roll a die. There are 6 outcomes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, each having probability 1 by 6. We will write down the probabilities at the middle of the branch. Now, the outcomes of the experiment are H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6. How can we find out the probability of an outcome using a tree diagram? How can we find out the probability of an outcome in a tree diagram? Now we want to find out the probability of H1. We will simply multiply the probabilities on the branches. H has the probability 1 by 2 and 1 has the probability 1 by 6. So the probability of H1 is 1 over 2 into 1 by 6, that is 1 by 12. Now we want to find out the probability of T6. T6, this one. The probability of T is 1 by 2 and the probability of 6 is 1 by 6. So the probability of T6 is, we will multiply the probabilities on the branches and we will get 1 over 12. So in a tree diagram, if we want to find out the probability of any outcome, we will multiply the probabilities on the branches. Now we want to find out the all the possible outcomes when 3 coins are tossed. There are 3 experiments. Toss a coin, toss a coin, toss a coin. The first experiment has 2 outcomes, head, tail. We will draw 2 branches. We have drawn. We will write down the outcomes at the end and probabilities at the middle of the branches, on the middle of the branches. Now the next experiment is toss a coin. We will, and toss a coin has 2 outcomes. So we will draw 2 branches against each head and tail. That is this one. We will write down the outcomes at the end and probabilities on the middle of the branch. Now the third experiment is to toss a coin, which again has 2 outcomes. So we will draw, there are 4 outcomes, you can see that. Now we will draw 2 branches against each one. That is this one. Now the outcomes are head, 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 tail, head, tail, head, head, tail, 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 head, head, tail, head, tail, 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 head, and tail, tail, tail. Now the probability of, we want to find out the probability of this outcome. We will multiply the H, T, and T. We will multiply the probabilities on the branches to get the probability of this outcome. And the probability of this outcome is 1 by 8. These are all the probabilities of all the outcomes. Now the question is, find the probability of getting a prime number on the die and a head on a coin. With the help of, first of all, I will elaborate this question with the help of possibility diagram. The possibility diagram of this question is this: coin and a die. Now prime number and head. These are the outcomes. Prime number and head. There are 3 outcomes. So A is the event that prime and head. Probability of A is equal to 3 over 12 is equal to 1 over 4. Total number of outcomes are 12 and the favorable are 3. Use the possibility diagram when the outcomes are equally likely. Equally likely means when all the outcomes have the same probability. Each outcome has the same chance to be selected. Now head has the probability 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 6, 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 1 by 6. So use the possibility diagram. It is recommended that to use the possibility diagram when all outcomes are equally likely, have the same probability. Now find the probability of getting a prime number on the die and a head on the coin with the help of tree diagram. This one is the tree. The first experiment has 6 branches and the second experiment has 2 branches. So, and the favorable outcomes are 2H, 3H, and 5H. The probability of 2 is 1 by 2, 1 by 6, and head is 1 by 2, 1 by 6, 1 by 2, 1 by 6, 1 by 2. So its probability is 1 by 12, 1 by 12, 1 by 12. While using the tree diagram, we will not use the old formula, favorable outcomes divided by total number of outcomes. We will use the new concept, more pre, more advanced concept, more general concept, that add the probabilities of favorable outcomes. The favorable outcomes are 2h, 3h, and 5h. The probability of 2h is 1 by 12, 1 by 12, and 1 by 12. The answer is 1 by 4. So whenever we will use the tree diagram, we will find out the probability of an event with the help of the formula, add the probabilities of favorable outcomes. We can also use this formula in the possibility diagram, add the probabilities of favorable outcomes. Now, this one, in this way, we can find out the probabilities of an event with the help of tree diagram. Okay. Thank you. And the exercise, the link of the exercise is given in the description along with the answers. Thank you.